Hello and welcome. I am Dogbert here to give you my DD6 recommendations, which can also be used for DD5 and DD4. So just keep this in mind, though, that this is all subject to change. This is recorded on 9/27/2023. So I'll give you an idea just how late in the future maybe you might want to look for an updated video. So why is this all subject to change? Because every patch brings new characters who surpass the old ones, and therefore this is under constant review and change as our needs grow. Better characters come out, maybe less costly, maybe more costly. Who knows? We'll have to see what the future brings. So going into my recommendations, we're going to start off with global, since this is the first section where you're limited to the first couple nodes are bring the first 5, whoever you get, doesn't matter. So looking over this list, the most no-brainer here is Big Boy Apocalypse. You definitely want to bring Apocalypse despite his cost, being a high-value mutant. He does pretty much help you get through the nodes. The other character that is really good here is Quicksilver. However, Quicksilver is a very expensive mystic character that might make you not want to bring him on the first run. Maybe you don't want to wait that long, so maybe you want to use one of the alternatives there. We'll get into those in a second. Next character is actually Gambit. Believe it or not, when it comes to Gear 18, Gambit only requires 2 pieces on him, a total of 44 Gear 18 pieces. That's actually cheap. To get him up to Gear 18, this is a character you already had to take to Gear 17 anyway in order to get that Big Boy Apocalypse. So this is actually a really smart move to bring him in, despite him being another mutant along with Apocalypse. The reason why we can afford to do this also is because when it comes to Cosmic, there's only 5 Cosmic mutants out there, and they all suck. You'd never build them. So we can put some mutant gear over here, not too much, and we can go with Gambit. Now, next one up is Tiger. Believe it or not, I'm putting her in here. Is she going to be great in Dark Dimension? Probably not. But she is okay, and she is a bio character, and again, she is a cheap choice at only 44 Gear 18 pieces needed to bring her in. Is her team good? Not really. Is she probably going to be good? Probably not. Not when it comes to Dark Dimension, but she does get a lot of evades, pretty much on every single thing that she does. So let's keep that in mind. She is a cheap new character choice. Next up is Dr. Doom. Don't forget, Dr. Doom takes Tech and Mystic, so he's like kind of half of each. Only downside is he does take Miasma, which will come into play later. The other thing about these characters is that you have some different uniques in there. Uniques are going to be your biggest bottleneck other than Gear 18 pieces, but the reason why Dr. Doom is in here, is he more expensive? Probably, yeah. But he does take Tech, like I said, and his ultimate is incredibly good. It will definitely help you, and he has stood the test of time because that ultimate is just simply the best in the game. Now, if we look at the alternatives, the actual first alternative, if you're looking for a Tech character, is, believe it or not, is Rescue. Is she going to be amazing? God, no. She does have a 5% health steal on her special. She can put defense downs out on her basic, which you'd be using a lot. But she is cheap Tech. So if you're looking maybe to replace Quicksilver with somebody cheaper, you want to get in a little bit quicker. Rescue is a character we have to build anyway for the Tech lanes. That might be a consideration. Skipping around, if you notice, I do have a lot of rebirth characters here with Winter Soldier, Captain Carter, Captain America, and Agent Venom. The problem with the rebirth characters is you pretty much have to bring Captain Carter. Once you bring Captain Carter, you can then bring Captain America, and he won't suck, because then he'll actually be able to get revived, get healed. He gets extra hit points that he really needs, and Carter's really good, but you're talking about a very expensive bio duo once you consider that's 2 different bio characters you'd have to bring up. And then if you wanted to do another rebirth character, you could do a third. You just choose between Winter Soldier and Agent Venom. Personally, I would always go Winter Soldier because he has lower cooldowns. Emma Frost is still in here despite her cost. She still is a character that is pretty good. You could use her. She does clear debuff. She does slow down the team. You know, she does blind somebody. So that's something to think about. Nemesis is another character. That's a character you already have at Gear 17. Another mutant, though. but everything he does is percent-based health damage, which is quite good. And of course, we have Spider Weaver. If you want a Mystic to replace Quicksilver, you already have her at Gear 17. You had to. It's just something to consider. Probably not the best choices, though. Like I said, if you're looking for one alternative, Rescue is probably your best bet. You definitely want to maybe stick with the team up above. But like I said, Quicksilver being expensive, maybe that's why you'd go with somebody else. Moving on to Cosmic. Cosmic's a little bit more simpler. Val and Kang are pretty much the two must-brings. Kang with his speed up, he has tech. Of course, Val being a mystic, but what Val does is absolutely amazing, especially when it comes to our Dark Dimension. The next character I'd say was more of a must-bring is Kestrel. In the middle there, don't forget she is tech and skill. But now that she's going to be part of the tech raid team, already had to build her up to Gear 17. She was already a choice beforehand. Now she's even more of a choice with her upgraded stats. I also have Photon out here. Yes, Photon gets replaced in the arena a lot, but she's still overall a very good character. We could see her come back into the arena in the future. You never know with this plug-and-play style of things. We're seeing that the Secret Defenders are already down to 3. So why couldn't we move them around? Maybe bring Photon back, maybe not. She's incredibly good in war with the A-Force. She is a bio character, so she's definitely worth bringing up to Gear 18. And the last character I have here, who's really kind of is Star-Lord Annihilation. He is cheaper. He does use Judas bullets. Nobody else really uses those, so he uses skill gear. So you're looking for a skill gear in Cosmic. There's your choice. The first alternative I would think about bringing would be Dormammu. But we are using Miasma again there. Dormammu stood the test of time, plus he gives you an extra life there. So that's something to consider, but he is expensive to bring. Other characters to think about, Deathpool. Still has use, but uses Miasma again. Hela, we're going to see her revived again with the Undying team getting really good in war with Juggernaut coming. So another one to think about is Hela. And of course the Eternals, but you need to bring both of them. So you would have to replace 2 people to use the Eternals. Will they work? Yes. Are we talking about a shit ton of Mystic gear? Yep. That's why they're down there instead of up there on the recommended. So those are just things to think about when you're looking at this. You got to look at your costs. And of course, you also have to remember at the end of the Dark Dimension 6, you have a Gear 18, whatever you bring. Oh, and by the way, if you want to bitch about the cost of some of these characters, unless you're bringing Shield Trooper to Global, I don't want to hear it. If you bring Shield Trooper to Global and you have a Gear 18 Shield Trooper, please let me know what he does. I want to see it. Take videos, please. I want to see Shield Trooper in action in DD6. Sorry about that. Now on to City. City notes are a little bit weird, but we are able to actually use one of every category. Squirrel Girl is still an amazing character as far as Dark Dimension is concerned. She's decent outside of it. Her time's really falling off, but there's really not that many good other bio choices out there, believe it or not. As you look at the bio for City, you're looking at like Web Warriors and everything. Everybody's really kind of fallen off, including the alternative down there, 2099. But he is a. So if we had to look at it, I would go with Squirrel Girl. The absolute must bring is Robbie. Yes, he's Mystic. Yes, he is Miasma. Yes, he's Arena Meta too. So you absolutely positively want to bring Robbie. I can't think of a better character to bring. He is just amazing when it comes especially to Dark Dimension, great in the arena. We also have Spider-Man big time over here. Don't forget, he is tech. And he's not that bad to bring in. He's okay in Dark Dimension. He's not great, but he does put defense downs out there. So that's nice to have. Plus he is tech. I still have Kingpin out here for skill. The reason being that Kingpin brings up those minions who can taunt, which keeps them from hitting other people on your team. And when they get hit, it does give Robbie a charge, setting Robbie off, which will allow you to do even more damage. This is more or less a character here to protect us. He does do some assisting, but the big thing is those minions. And he does use Vibranium, though, so keep that in mind. And the last character is Marvel, Ms. Marvel Hardlight. She is a mutant. This allows us to bring a mutant into City. I would not bring Fire. Crap. No, we don't want her. You got to bring Ms. Marvel is important for the arena, so having a big Ms. Marvel who's gear 18 is a must-have. And this will help you out in the city. Will she do a lot? No, she'll pretty much be there to take hits. That's her job. Alternatives, we do have Ronin. After I don't know how many goddamn updates they made to this team now, but Ronin's okay if you call him an assist, but he is an expensive skill character. Definitely not great. We have Hoodie and Dildo down here. Of course, they're both Mystic. Dildo being a bit more expensive usually, but Hoodie also uses miasma, same one as Robbie up there, so I don't know if you really want to do that. This would be a lot of Mystic gear to bring those two. Shang-Chi is a great alternative if you're looking for a skill character, although he is getting a bit long in the tooth. Gwenpool is good, especially if you bring Hoodie and Dildo, but again, you're looking at then like 3 Mystics, but she gives Hoodie and Dildo a lot more survivability. 2099 is good because he works with Robbie because he's putting out bleeds. And he does all of those other things like putting out the slows and hitting everybody ability block. But again, he has fallen off, but he has good Cosmic Crucible along with Weaver. And last but not least, if you're looking for a Mystic character, this is a cheaper to build character for as far as Dark Dimension 6 goes, and that is Mr. Negative. He does bring out those minions to help you out, so that's something to consider as well. But it wouldn't be my first choice, especially since we already have a Mystic and Robbie up there. And last but not least, we're just going to talk about Legendary, because I don't think there's any point to worry about building the Horsemen for their little section when you can just use the Legendary characters and probably drop the first character here, Shuri, for Apocalypse, and just deal with that. If you want to build up the Horseman characters, do it on your second run after you've gotten some extra gear. So the recommended characters is Shuri. She's probably the first one you'll drop out, but she is tech. Nick Fury, expensive skill character, but he is still a skill character. He does bring out those minions, which do help. He is needed for a raid team right now. Whether or not the invaders stay around for much longer, who knows? Eventually, whoever the next legendary is will replace either Shuri or Nick Fury, most likely. Then we have Nova. He is pretty good for Dark Dimension, and he's a newer legendary bio character, so he's definitely a good choice. Omega Red does present base damage, that's why he's still a great mutant choice, though his age is starting to show. We're not using him as much as we used to, but he's still a very good choice for this. And finally, of course, we have Black Cat, the newest legendary used in the arena. Definitely want to be bringing her. She is a skill character, but you'll get a lot of value out of her since we're using her in the arena. The alternative is Invisible Woman, very old character, does do well. Cheaper bio character, that's about it for her. Phoenix, a cheaper mutant character as far as Gear 18, but at the end of the day, then you have a Gear 18 Phoenix. Adam Warlock, if you'd rather have a Mystic character in there instead of, like, say, like Nick Fury, that would be a good choice there if you want to do another Mystic. And an expensive, more of a long shot. You hope that God he's going to get a rework or some kind of stat update soon. And it's Doc Ock, although when it comes to Gear 18, he is more expensive than Shuri. It's more or less I want to, but he does take a different unique that some other people don't want to use right now. So that would be more of a gamble. You're pretty much gambling that he'll get a rework or something and be more useful in the future. Shuri is useful right now with the Wakandans and War Dogs, although they're getting older as well. But more than likely, Doc Ock would get a rework before Shuri. So that gives you an idea of who my picks would be right now for DD6 based on what we have and what we know in the future, which is not much. Until next time, everybody.